Happy Friday from Isolation Station 24601. My name is Tom Campbell, as you can see down now. Before we get started, here at Cultaholic, we have to address an elephant in the room. Are you coming up then? Are you alright? Cool. Here's some wrestling news. A released star wants the chance to say, screw you, WWE. WWE 2K21 has been cancelled. More on that in a little bit. And an update on AEW's TV plans. We'll get to that soon. Just over a week removed from last Wednesday's mass WWE layoffs, and we're seeing more and more people come forward about their plans going forward. One of those that spoke out in the last few hours is former NXT star, the virtuoso Dianna Perazzo. Dianna spoke to two outlets over the last few hours. She spoke to Les Antipodes de la Lutte, which is a French wrestling podcast. I hope I haven't butchered the pronunciation. Thank you to Post Wrestling for the transcription on this. When asked about that Wednesday, Dianna said, I didn't know it was coming. And last Wednesday, we had a company-wide app that Vince McMahon put a video on for all of us to watch. And it talks about people being furloughed and people being fired and pay cuts. So it all kind of happened really fast. No one really expected it. And then as soon as we all watched the video, we clicked over to Twitter and it was name after name after name being released. I had a gut feeling like, I'm going to get a call today. For the last 6 months, I've talked to so many people in the office in NXT about not being happy, not being utilised properly, wanting to be booked more and do more. And I just had a lot of pushback from it. And speaking of myself, was looked upon negatively. It was about a month ago that I had a conversation with the Senior Director of Talent Development. And I said, if I'm not going to get ahead of this and I'm not going to change people's minds about me, then I don't want to be here anymore. So when the call came last Wednesday, they said, your name was on the list. I think this is something you'll be happy about and you wanted. And I said, 100%, absolutely. So with that said, as unexpected as it was, I kind of just in my heart knew that it would happen. And I'm looking forward to being back on the indies and actually wrestling the way that I want to wrestle. She also spoke to Sports Kingdom and they asked her, like, what do you want to do once you're back on the indies and stuff? She says she wants to work with AEW. Her and Britt Baker are really good friends. She wants to work with Kylie Ray at Impact Wrestling, also Tessa Blanchard at Impact Wrestling as well. She wants to go to Australia. She wants to go to Japan. She'd love to come fight in England. We'd love to have you over here as well. She ended this by saying, I would just love a shot at saying, screw you, WWE. And that's what it all comes down to. I think a lot of people are now going to spend the next 90 days whilst they're on sort of the wrestling equivalent of gardening leave, or 30 if you're in on some of those NXT contracts, just making plans going forward to teach WWE why they shouldn't have let them go. And that's going to be exciting to see when we get to the other side of this. The hunger that's come out, some of these that got let go, people like Heath Slater, who even said in his interview when he spoke out for the first time, he said, I feel hungry. And there's a lot that feel like that. They're ready to go out there and actually do stuff in the wrestling world again. And I'm excited for everybody. Let's talk about WWE 2K20, shall we? Not for too long, otherwise we'll clip through the wall. Yeah. Bit of a nightmare that, bit of a PR disaster that game. It was brought up in the WWE Q1 report, and it was revealed in yesterday's report, all details of which are at cultaholic.com, by the way, that there won't be a WWE 2K21. So we are not getting a 2K wrestling game, wrestling simulator game this year. And this is a shame. This is the first time in as long as I can remember that we're not going to get an annual wrestling game. Like for fans of wrestling, this is kind of like our FIFA. This is our Pro Evo. This is our NBA. You know, this is a big deal this year when these big sports franchises come out. You kind of build towards these releases, but based on everything that went down with 2K20, I'm kind of glad that we're having a fallow year on the old wrestling sims, so we can get our heads around all the stuff that went wrong and we can have a better game for the year after. I don't mind missing a year. 2K Games, however, did put out a tweet to say that they have an announcement for WWE fans on Monday, and there is speculation that this will be a WWE game, but not as we know it. So we're not getting a wrestling simulator this year, a la 2K19, 2K20, etc., but we're getting something. Now, this could go down one of two avenues. It could either be like a WWE Championship Manager type game, a bit like Extreme Warfare Revenge or Total Extreme Warfare, the wrestling games where you build your own wrestling promotion and run it, and you deal with egos backstage, and you book feuds and storylines and stuff, and you build your company up. I love that game. Used to be devoted to a forum where we all talked about it. So something like that of a WWE ilk, I'm all for. I am all for that bad boy. However, the other school of thought is we could see the WWE product put into a different genre, a la WWE Crush Hour for the PS2 from many moons ago. That was when someone went, what if all the WWE guys were in a poor man's destruction derby? Yeah, I have a horrible feeling that something like this may come our way. I know WWE are keen on putting their product out to new eyes. This will be certainly a way of putting it out to new eyes. Don't know if I want it though, but here we are. I was about to say, I don't want to see like WWE golf. Now I'm thinking about it, the image of Brock Lesnar with a 9-iron, or Keith Lee with a putter. Actually, I do want to see WWE golf. Forget everything I just said, I'd like WWE golf, please. We have an update on a hot former WWE tag team. I think you know who I'm talking about. So yeah, we go hard all day, all night. The Colognes. Primo and Epico Cologne back in the conversation today at Cultaholic, and AAA are those that are leading the conversation. So Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer this week has said that Conan has shown interest in bringing in Lio Rush and Primo and Epico to AAA. Fine with all of this. Lio Rush is a solid performer. I think wherever he goes, he will do great things. I was gutted when he was amongst the names that were let go, because he's got such a tremendous upside. I want to see Lio Rush go on and do brilliant things. Go and do a tour at AAA. That'd be good times. Primo and Epico, yeah. I know we rag on them a little bit, here, everywhere. I think everyone kind of does a little bit, but they're all right. They're solid performers. I think they'd be a nice fit at AAA. Will WrestleMania go 2 days again? That was a question brought up to Triple H when he was a guest on After the Bell with Corey Graves. And Triple H has his own opinions on whether or not WrestleMania should be a 2-day spectacular. Triple H said on After the Bell, my opinion is my opinion, but I think it was much more enjoyable than the 8-hour extravaganza we normally get. I think at some point that it's probable that will be where it goes. It started out as a concert that ended up being a festival. I think that big main stage attraction needs to be those 2 nights and it be this weekend of events. I know there's been people saying that for a period of time, but that's a major shift and that doesn't come easy. I'm for WrestleMania being 2 nights. I never thought I'd say that, but after this year, after having 2 nights of 3 hours, and then on Monday, managing to get my body clock back fairly quickly, I am happy to have 2 days of WrestleMania as opposed to one that lasts 14 hours. That's a handy relief for me. Bobby Lashley, but not Bobby Leasley. Let's talk AEW. They are in the can. Hey, it's my favourite word. In the can for a few more weeks yet, but going forward, it looks as if their TV tapings could possibly be going live from Daily's Place in Jacksonville. Let me quote Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Dave says that AEW is going back likely to live programming in a few weeks, which would put them in the same situation as WWE. While this could also change depending on the circumstances, and they have enough tape for the last several more weeks, the plan right now is for AEW to go back either weekly or more often, starting from the 6th of May from Daily's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. The Georgia main events, the Georgia stuff was the TNT Championship Tournament, the semi-final coming up next week. The show starting on the 6th of May will start the hard push towards Double or Nothing on the 23rd. They expect to have about twice as much talent available for the next tapings as well. Some talent from heavily hit areas that weren't brought to the last taping started quarantining earlier this week, as they wanted 2 weeks of quarantine before bringing people from those areas in. So it's expected the shows will focus on the talent that will be on the pay-per-view show. So what all that basically means is that if they are going to go back to doing live stuff, they'll have a bigger pool of talent to draw from for it. Whether they should or not, this is the debate that is going on across wrestling overall at the moment. WWE under a lot of fire at the moment for continuing to do tapings, and the argument being they should just cancel for a little while, take a break. Quite a few people have spoken out about this, not just fans, but notable people. Eric Bischoff on his podcast was saying that it would make sense for WWE to stop putting out these shows with empty arenas and just play some old stuff for a while. And that'll be the debate that rages on, whether or not they should still be doing it. Personally, like, if you can do what Impact have done and just tape a load of stuff and then just play that and let everyone go home and just chill with their families, do that. That's an option. Do that. It's nice. Let them go home and do some bake banana bread and learn how to TikTok. Let them do that for a bit. I'm hoping AEW uses the time to just bank a whole lot of tapings in Jacksonville, then let people go on their way. But we'll see what happens. It'll be a debate that rages on long after this, I do believe. That's your Cultaholic news. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting what we do here at Cultaholic. And if you're one of those amazing people that are out on the front line, making the world feel a little bit more normal, helping the world continue to turn, we'll never be able to repay you for the great stuff that you do. Thank you so much. Also, going into the weekend, I want you to know it's okay to not be okay, okay? It's weird times. Like, I've had a weird time up here in the last couple of days, and I'm not shy about saying it. Like, these are really uncertain circumstances that we're all in, and we spend a lot of time on our phones now, and we see people sunbathing in the garden, starting new exercise regimes on these important Zoom work meetings, loving life in quarantine and all this stuff. Never compare your behind the scenes to other people's greatest hits, because it'll drive you wild if you do, not in a good way. Like, here's a good example, right? Here's a good example. I'm here wearing a suit jacket. Oh, Tom looks smart for this time of the morning. No. First of all, right, this suit jacket stinks. It needs dry cleaning, but the dry cleaners are shut. And also, right, I'm wearing my pajamas underneath it. I've literally just thrown on a suit jacket for the premise of doing this video. I'm wearing my pajamas, and I'm going to stay in my pajamas all day long. And you know what? If you have what it takes, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distant walking to the fridge, you yourself can spend the entire day in your pajamas as well. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.